Good morning, good morning. Bix Weir, roadtoruta.com with your morning horn of disease. Is it your horn of disease? Your sip of coffee. I'm coming to you from outside on a porch. A couple things I want to talk about today. One is the website, the roadtoruta.com website. People had questions about what the private road is, what the public road is. Basically, if you go to roadtoruta.com right here, this top section, Road to Ruta Letters, is the public section. That's all the free articles. If you go down to the bottom of that section, right down here, you'll see Road to Ruta Letter Archives. And if you click on that, you'll see hundreds, literally hundreds of free articles on silver, on the cryptos, on all kinds of stuff. Interviews, lots of free stuff. And then you have your private road subscription area right down here. Let's click on one just to tell you. Here's one, how to buy Veritasium. Special report on pre-ICO offering. This was, if you click on it, it was Salt Lending. Salt Lending was the ICO I covered a few weeks back. Those of you who got in at, what was it, $1.50 are real happy. It's the next offering is going to be $3, I believe. They're not quite sure yet if they're going to do another pre-offering or go directly to the ICO. I think the ICO is going to go on out around $5. Not so sure. But I walked you through everything going on with this ICO company, and it is a company. It's a great company. I believe it'll be a big one. We'll see what happens. None of these are sure things. So you go back to the website, and then below it, for private road members, is all the blasts I send out with the email system and things like that. On the left here, about Road to Ruta subscription, this is where you sign up for the private road. And yes, I do send you a paper wallet loaded with $30 worth of Veritasium. And these are from my Ether wallet. These are tokens on the Ethereum platform. So they go on to Ethereum wallets. And they are listed as a token when you look up what the content of the paper wallet. But these get mailed to your front door. With every subscription, it goes down what the private road offers, and then there's a place to buy the private road, which is $299 for a full year, and you get access to over 3,000 documents on the Road to Ruta. Also over here on the left side, there's some things that not many people look at. My favorite is the resources tab. It goes through all these documents I've found on these conspiracies, so to speak, the geoengineering and chemtrails, Clinton's, the 1912 New York Times Grand Canyon gold article. You'll hear everybody on YouTube and the gold bug say, oh, there's no such thing as gold in the Grand Canyon. But here's the front page from the New York Times. Tell of vast riches in the Grand Canyon. Billions of ounces in the canyon walls and in the sand. Billions with a B. And if you go down this article, it lists the names, places, and all that. Interesting, the foreman of this, the guy who was writing this article, ended up working for the Federal Reserve of Chicago. That was part of my book that I don't know if I'm ever going to get done. Ultimately, I don't think it's going to matter how much gold there is, because I don't think we're going to need gold as a monetary instrument. It'll be a decent store of value when all the gold is accounted for in the world, but it's not accounted for right now. So really interesting stuff there if you're interested in gold in the Grand Canyon. It also goes over who owns the most Bitcoin, the history of Bitcoin, again, geoengineering, Deep Capture by Patrick Byrne. Amazing documentary about failure to delivers on the stock market. Your brokerage company is absolutely lying to you when they say they go buy stock and put it in your account. They don't. And this is the proof of that. And then all about failures to deliver, the DTCC, Exchange Stabilization Fund, all these cool conspiracies. The original Road to Ruta documents right here. Here's the 1981 version of the Road to Wishes and Rainbows comic book. This might take a couple seconds to load. This is where I found it. I found it in the archives of, where was it? I don't even remember where I found it, but it's posted to the Road to Ruta. That's what the comic book from 1981 looked like. That's Ruta. And you can tell right there at the top, where's this comic book from? Federal Reserve Bank of Boston. And down here is adapted by Stephen Duveau. Stephen Duveau was a military intelligence guy. He worked as a computer programmer in the 1970s for the Federal Reserve Bank. His job was to implement the road to Ruta theory and rig markets via computers, which we'll talk about in 1 second. But yeah, it's really interesting stuff there in the resources tab. Everything you want to know about 9/11, who did it, why they did it, how they did it. The gold, secret gold treaties, gold Fort Knox fake gold, all kinds of good stuff. Here's a good one, the U.S. military silver analysis. The U.S. military has been fighting with the Treasury back and forth about what to do with silver stockpiles. This was all happening in the 80s. Really interesting stuff in there. Let's see, a Harry Oppenheimer conspiracy. Jeffrey Christian loves to claim that there's only 180,000 tons of gold that's ever been mined in the world and all that. It's a complete lie. That number was invented by Harry Oppenheimer. Harry Oppenheimer was he is the owner, the Oppenheimer family of De Beers Diamonds. They're all about lying about statistics to keep their source, whatever they're digging out of the ground. For the De Beers, it was diamonds. That price elevated and not tell people the truth. They did the same thing in the reverse for gold. There are millions of tons of gold. There's not 180,000 tons of gold. If you're invested in gold because of scarcity, that's the wrong reason to invest in gold. And then the risk of holding anything in your safe deposit box and how it will get nationalized. But that's a really cool section in the resources tab. Not many people go there, but I would suggest you go there. And then also, if you go to the home page, the general store is right here. And if you're looking to buy some stuff, Road to Ruta. Ruta has stuff to sell. There are 4 books and a special report. These are the 4 books I've written. If you sign up right here on the left, get a free book with the public road updates. This is the free updates. Put your name and your email. You'll get this book, Silver, Gold, Bitcoin, and God. Free for $10 value. You don't have to pay a penny. And then a lot of people love this report, The World in 2017. It's a Road to Ruta analysis of the Economist magazine. It goes through all the tarot cards, what they mean, and how they will be affecting us this year. And truthfully, we haven't even really begun. There's some stuff in here. And you notice on every single picture, there is gold. Gold will play a very important role, just a different role. So yeah, you can download that for 15 bucks from the general store. And then there's the private road membership, $30 in hard copy crypto. Right now I'm giving away Veritasium. And then the roadside chats, these are 1-hour consulting phone calls that you can send your questions or information or anything you want. You can say, here's what I need to know about the cryptos. I'll do all the research, and then we'll have an hour phone call about it and talk about what your question is. And if I can answer it, I will. If not, I can't. And then you got some autographed books. Really cool stuff. Just go to the general store, which is right on the front page. And you can check out all this stuff. And there's, oh, look at that, a free copy of book 2, Out of the Darkness. I give away everything for free. Isn't that great? Gotta love the Road to Ruta. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about this guy, Stephen Duveau, the computer expert. The latest computer expert rigging the market is none other than Steve Mnuchin. The U.S. Treasury Secretary was the head of IT for Goldman Sachs. He was a computer market rigger. Computer market rigging is how they control the price of everything to control the unbacked fiat monetary system. And let's go right to, where'd I go? I don't want that. I lost that article. It was a Zero Hedge article too. All right, let's go to Zero Hedge. There. Zero Hedge has a very interesting article on, let's just go through Zero Hedge. Why not? Goldman's clients are confused about inflation. Here's why. Inflation is a lie. They've been lying about inflation since, probably since the beginning of time, but definitely since Bill Clinton changed all the metrics on how to judge inflation. And you got to remember that the most important thing about inflation is that's how they adjust the Social Security payments. So declaring that inflation is really, really low is really, really hurting the elderly people who count on Social Security for living. They paid into it, and they're getting criminally robbed by our government, thanks to Bill Clinton. But let me go to, there's a, here it is right here, our brave new markets. Our brave new markets, how high-frequency trading algos risk a sudden massive sell-off. It could go up or it could go down with the click of a mouse. I've explained that to you. The first programs were implemented by Stephen DeVoe, the guy at the Federal Reserve, the military intelligence guy who worked for military intelligence in the late 60s, early 70s. He implemented the computer trading programs. His expertise is in project implementation. Can you think of a bigger project than rigging the monetary system? Anyway, let's talk about it a little bit. One thing is clear. These aren't your daddy's markets anymore. Why? Because about 10 years ago, the rise of the machines, aka high-frequency trading algorithms, completely altered the terrain of what we call capital markets. I would argue that it wasn't 10 years ago. It was in the 1960s and 70s that they got implemented by Alan Greenspan. And it was just done undercover, and nobody knew about it. You notice when Alan Greenspan was, first of all, he was appointed as the head of the Fed in 1987, which is unheard of. Everybody's like, why are we appointing the biggest gold bug in the world as the head of the Federal Reserve, the anti-gold? And the reason was because he was working with Arthur Burns and the Federal Reserve to rig the markets, rig the prices of every commodity, control the unbacked fiat monetary system. All right, let's look at this as before and after story. Before the machines, the market were a place where humans with roughly equal information and reflexes set the prices of financial assets by buying and selling. Fundamentals mattered. Remember those days? I don't. I wasn't even born. No, I was born in 1964, so I'm 53. And that's right around when, they took out Kennedy and Alan Greenspan and Arthur Burns got together and said, hey, we got to do something about these markets before these criminals destroy our lives. So they implemented the road to Ruta theory, the delaying of the unbacked fiat monetary system, went off the gold standard in 71. And that's where we are today, and now they don't know how to get back, of course. After the machines took over, markets became denominated in terms of volume, liquidity, and pricing by machines that operate in time frames of a millionth of a second. The machines and their algorithms use remorseless routines and trickery, quote stuffing, spoofing, price manipulations to get their way. Absolutely. And this happens in the crypto markets as well. Fundamentals no longer matter. Only endless central bank supplied liquidity does, because such machines and their coders are very expensive and require a lot of funding. First of all, the U.S. government has unlimited funds. I mean, there's kind of two sets of books. There's the books that they tell people, here's our debt, 20 trillion or whatever, and then there's this concept of an unlimited back set of books, and they don't even keep books. They probably don't even keep books. What's to stop the U.S. government from printing $100 trillion and not telling anybody about it, and throwing it into the markets and rigging markets through the Exchange Stabilization Fund? Nothing. Nothing. This is a faith-based currency, and the faith is fading fast, and the reason the price of gold and silver can't go up is that they throw trillions of dollars worth of electronic derivatives at it, because they can create these things out of thin air, and they create money out of thin air and not tell anybody. It's a trust-based system. We trust that the EU will only print a certain amount of money. We trust the U.S. government doesn't have a secret set of books where they print limited, not even printing. They create limitless amounts of money to fund their black projects. The whole concept of a faith-based monetary system is ridiculous, because they don't have to report it to you. But the world continues to trudge along. Fundamentals no longer matter. Only endless central bank supplied liquidity does. The various financial markets are so distorted that I first resorted to putting that word in quotes, markets, to signify that they are not at all the same as in the past. In recent years, I've taken to putting double quote marks, quote, markets, in an attempt to drive home their gross distortion. Not only are today's markets something the human trader of a generation ago would fail to recognize, they're no longer a place where human action of any sort have much of a remaining role. It's true. But that's been true for a long, long time, decades, since the 70s. Why do I care about this? Two big reasons. Number one, such markets are easily manipulated by central banks and other state actors by virtue of their automated responses to liquidity injections. Are the markets going down when you don't want them to? Just use one of several highly leveraged means of signaling to the computers that it's time to buy instead of sell. Common leverage points include the Japanese yen to US dollar price level, selling VIX to lower volatility, and buying massive quantities of index futures all at once. These manipulations will work until they don't. When they fail, they may fail spectacularly, resulting in shattered markets that have to be shuttered until the damage can be assessed. Investors will not be able to access their capital either to buy or sell while things get sorted out. Road to Root has been telling you that a long time. When the markets finally do reopen, valuations will be a whole lot lower due to the loss of the huge block of phantom volume previously supplied by the now shut down algos. I would not say that is true. The manipulation goes up and it goes down. The manipulation is going up for the things that the government and the Fed want to be seen as the go-to assets, stocks, bonds, the traditional assets. They've been go down for the metals, all metals, all commodities. So when these algos are removed, it's not just going to be going down. These markets will be, gold and silver will be skyrocketing without the algos. The main predicament we're facing is by jamming the markets even higher. Central banks have created an enormous gap between current prices and reality. That and suppressing price has really changed the gap between reality and prices in the metal markets. An easy example to see of this is the housing market in San Francisco, where average income earners cannot afford average houses at all. The only way the San Francisco housing market can rebalance is to a sustainable level is either for salaries to shoot up massively while house prices remain flat, or house prices have to fall. Equities are no different. And here is a little price manipulation, obvious price manipulations. Just to show that I'm an equal opportunity critic and don't think gold and silver are manipulated, and they have been and continue to be, which is a matter of fact, I warn that the same dynamic that infests the precious metal markets at the COMEX indeed happen elsewhere. My conclusion is that the high-frequency computer algos are in complete control of the market action and play with and off each other to create massive sudden price movements that have nothing to do with anything except book order saturation. Today's recent example comes to us courtesy of the crude oil market on the NYMEX, and there is a manipulation. Now, on the Road to Root, I've been saying this for 15 years, that it's the computers and derivatives that set the price of everything. And it was Alan Greenspan who invented the very first programs using BASIC computer language, which is his buddy John Kemeny invented in the 1960s. We've gone through this a million times. I'm really happy to see that someone is actually talking about this stuff. But this isn't anything new. If you've been involved with GATA or been on the Road to Ruta, you know exactly where these programs came from, exactly how they do their dirty work. Thousands of contracts. And they go through, I'm not going to go through this whole article, but yeah, it's volume and liquidity. And everybody says, oh, the more volume you have, you know, the more chance you have of seeing a true fair market value. That's not true. When 99% of the volume is coming from one entity or a gang of a very small amount of entities working, colluding together, that's not volume. That is manipulation. And here's some more of the price spikes. And that's when they do it. Look right here. When they slam, when liquidity is really low and everybody's asleep on a Sunday night, they'll either slam the price up or slam the price down. It's so obvious, but and there is an entity, the CFTC is supposed to be regulating this. They can't. They don't and they can't. But they, truthfully, the SEC and the CFTC were set up to run cover for the official manipulation. So don't expect the CFTC to do a thing about it. Anyway, that's the excitement. And then one more thing right here. Veritasium has come out with a sheet talking about what Veritasium is. I'm a big fan of Veritasium. I own a lot of Veritasium. I don't plan on ever selling Veritasium. I plan on renting it out and leasing it to people to get an income stream as we shift over to the new high-tech world of blockchain and tokens and cryptocurrencies. So Veritasium, Reggie Milton came out with, it is a company. Let's go over a couple of these. What is the difference between Veritasium and Veritas? Veritasium is the name of the company that issued a token called the Veritas. Is Veritas a form of investment, and why? Veritas is not an investment. It's a software. It is a software platform. And yes, people trade it as a monetary token. We cannot stop others from speculating on Veri. That's true. Why is Veritasium market cap so underreported, and is this valid? CoinMarketCap, which is the largest cryptocurrency reporting service, that takes all the exchanges that these cryptocurrencies are traded on and uses an algorithm to figure out what the value is, and it posts that. CoinMarketCap determines the market cap by circulating supply, using circulating supply as opposed to total supply. Whether this number is underreported is up to your preferred method of reporting. In addition, we don't feel it matters nearly as much as many assume. Market cap, in a sense, is not the same as valuation. That's a fact. Market cap can be greatly distorted on the valuation side. Valuation takes a much more focused and rigorous approach than multiplying two numbers. Absolutely. Veritasium is a company, my friends, and a software platform. A lot more going on, which Reggie will point out. How dependent is Veritasium to the Ethereum blockchain for its peer-to-peer platform? Veritasium products are not dependent on any blockchain because it can be moved to different blockchains. That's true. It has already been moved from the Bitcoin blockchain to the Ethereum blockchain. Right now, the Ethereum blockchain is the most used and easiest to use. You know, there's a lot of competitors trying to get in there, but it'll be tough to knock Ethereum out of that #1 spot. Let's see. That being said, it will take some engineering effort to port from and between blockchains. We feel that most new blockchains will be written in such a fashion as to be backwards compatible with the Ethereum applications. Absolutely. Number 5. Will Veritasium's peer-to-peer platform be available to the public? It is now. Number 1, Veritasium's research is available now. I bought the Ripple report, and it's an amazing report on how to value Ripple. Number 2, Veritasium rental contracts will beta around, it looks like August 29th. That's really cool. The rental contracts meaning you own Veritasium and you're going to lease it and rent it out to other people and get an income stream with collateral. So that's really exciting. Number 3, Veritasium will start announcing veritization deals during the month of August 2017, showcasing high-end and advisory services. This company is just doing a lot, and Reggie has big goals for Veritasium. And if you look at all the crypto companies out there, I would say Salt is the other one who's going to be coming out soon. They're trying to get their product up and running by November. But most of these companies and tokens are projected, oh yeah, we're going to get into actual implementation of our idea in late 2018, 2019. But Veritasium's doing it right now. Veritasium VDAIR, VDADIR financial machines will be in beta around September 29th. Cliff had talked about those. I'm not sure what those are, but Cliff was all excited about that part of Veritasium. Number 5, Veritasium Jamaica Stock Exchange, Digital Asset Exchange joint venture will be in beta at the end of September. There you go for Jamaican Stock Exchange. It's going to be up and running by September, which is not far away. You know, we're 2 days away from August. Things are going really fast. Number 6, Veritasium joint venture Digital Asset Exchange joint venture with top 10 global securities exchanges slated to debut as a proof of concept in October, assuming the deal goes through. He's been talking about that for a while, and that should be really interesting. I'm excited about that one. The Veritasium peer-to-peer over-the-counter direct trading will debut in the 4th quarter of 2018. That's just basically saying, screw all these markets. We're not going to go in and fix it. We're going to open our own market right here. And anybody who wants to deal on a peer-to-peer basis with other people, Here's Veritasium. Yahoo for that. Bravo. It's going to take a while to implement that, obviously, at least a year. But all these other crypto companies are at least 2018. Some are 2019 to 2020. All right, let's go right to number 6. Can Veritasium be made SEC compliant in the case that becomes extremely necessary? Veritasium was always planning to release public financial reports. We believe we are a software-based consultancy. But if forced to comply with the SEC regulation as something other than a software vendor, we should have no problem doing so. And that's true. I mean, the SEC will be coming in to regulate because it's important. They understand this is going to be around for a very long time. And it is important not to punish people for what they're doing in the past, but to set guidelines of what to expect. What is expected of the cryptocurrency companies and those offering tokens. I don't think the SEC, and they've already said basically, they're not going to punish people for what has been done in the past because there was no rules to enforce. The SEC can only enforce the rules that are on the books, and if there's no rules on the books, they're not going to enforce anything. All right. Can the platform be ultimately used between peers without going through the Veritasium team? The goal will be to have a VDARE able to be 100% autonomous. But until we can develop that, artificial intelligence, that vets entities wishing to be veritized. Oh, okay. Until we can develop the artificial intelligence that vets entities to be veritized, the VDAR will have to buy research from Veritasium, therefore making it rely partially on the team to prevent unwanted entities from being listed. Yeah, ultimately, it could actually go peer-to-peer with not even anybody in between, but until that's years and years away. I don't know how far. Nobody knows. The world is changing, my friends. What does veritize mean? Veritize means that an asset is assigned a customized Veri token, and that asset is now represented on the blockchain. For example, you can take the lease of a building, veritize it, and now that lease can trade on our digital asset exchanges. Very cool. A lot of stuff going on at Veritasium. That's why I'm so excited about that company and the tokens, the Veritas tokens. And I know a lot of the Road to Ruta people are getting in or have already gotten in. And they look forward to leasing their Veritasium out to people wanting to utilize the platform. That's why Reggie is limiting the amount of tokens. I think these Veritasium tokens are going to be very valuable, and it's in Cliff's data too that these Veritasium tokens are going to be, one of the top competitors, along with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cliff's actually really, really high on Litecoin. And I think Litecoin is going to blow the doors off price appreciation between Litecoin and Bitcoin. Bitcoin, for those of you listening to all the talk around the BIP 148 and SegWit and all that, let it talk. I mean, I think Bitcoin will be fine in the long run, but I don't want to deal in that mess right now. I'm in Litecoin, I'm in Veritasium, Salt, ADX, Populous. If you haven't gone and listened to Cliff High's interview with the president and CEO of Populous, go do that. Populous is going to change the world as far as it's got to do with invoice financing and really interesting stuff. Go listen to that interview. And they're going to do something similar to Veritasium, when they're going to be renting Populous tokens. PPT is the symbol for Populous, and that's another big one I'm really excited about. Anyway, this is Bix Weir coming to you from somewhere in Northern California. We'll talk to you later.